Hi everybody, it's Jenna from Jenna Stitches. Today is Sunday. I think it's the 4th of December, and it is my weekly progress video. So I will show everything that I've worked on this week. My younger son is in here laying on the floor. His phone is playing, so you probably can hear it. Still dealing with a little sickness with him. Not really sure what's going on, but his fever is 101.6 right now, so he asked if he could come lay down in here while I recorded, and I said yes. So he's in here laying on the floor. I don't think he'll stay quiet through the whole thing. And I'm sorry if you can hear his phone. So I did stick pretty true to my plan for this week. I did finish 3 items that are not blankets, and if you watch my previous videos, you would know I did say that this week was devoted to blankets only, but all 3 of the projects that are not blankets were made for specific reasons. And I should have started off by saying welcome to my channel if you are new here. I know I have gotten quite a few new subscribers in the past couple days. Welcome back if you're returning. Thank you so much for coming back and supporting me. I really do appreciate all of it. Also, I know I mentioned this in my video the other day. I don't remember what video it was. Oh, the short video I made on Friday to show the finished project of the mystery crochet along. I know I mentioned in that video I do have my 500 subscriber giveaway going on. You do have to be a subscriber in order to win the giveaway, and you do have to have your subscription set to public so that I can verify that you're a subscriber. So at this point, I think I counted about 40 people who have commented on that video. So they are entered in the giveaway, but they're not showing as a subscriber. So again, if you want to win the giveaway that is going on, make sure you're subscribed and make sure your subscriptions are set to public. Because if I can't verify that you're a subscriber, I will have to choose someone else. So I'll just briefly show the 3 projects I finished because I have shown them all already and already talked about them in other videos throughout the week. But just to kind of keep everything in my weekly progress videos, I would like to show them. So the first thing I worked on and finished this week was the crisscross applesauce beanie. It's a pattern from Sandy at Crochet A Canada. I'll link her down below. This is a paid for pattern on Etsy, but there is the finished hat. I really liked the pattern. It was very easy to follow. I did talk about this in Wednesday's video. The yarn was Big Twist Value in white, and the loops and threads facets in Juniper is what the variegated color here is. The second thing I worked on and finished was the mystery crochet along that Heather from Strings and Threads did. I'll also have her link down below. I posted a video about this kind of in detail on Friday, so if you want more information about it, go ahead and head back to that video, but there is that. And the last thing I started and finished was the front to back post hat, which is my pattern, and I did post the tutorial for this yesterday. This was made in Red Heart Stripes Retro colorway, and there it is. So I posted the tutorial for that hat yesterday if anybody's interested. Then the other 3 things I have are the 3 blankets I've been working on, and I guess I'll show my husband's first because I've been working on that one quite a bit. I've done 20 rows since the last time you saw it, and all 20 rows were done this week because I haven't touched it at all lately, which is why I kind of decided to focus this week on blankets because I haven't been working on them really. But I have done 20 rows since the last time you saw it. This is the Casablanca blanket. It's a mosaic blanket by Tinna. I don't know how to say the rest of her name, but I'll also have her link down below. The blanket is a paid for pattern on Ravelry, but she does talk about it in some of her videos. So there is, ooh, It's getting big. There it is. So there is everything I have done so far. I am almost done with the second repeat. You can see this right here finishes off the repeat, so I am almost done with that. And if we get a little bit closer, where'd it just go? I felt it. Oh, there is a stitch marker right here, and it's gold, so it's kind of hard to see, but that is how much I've gotten done since the last time you saw it. So a couple inches added. But it's actually starting to actually look like a blanket. It's probably about 2.5 feet long. I might have to buy more yarn. I'm not sure yet because I got the yarn off lovecrafts.com. Did I get closer to my camera? Yes, I did. And on lovecrafts.com, you can choose to buy kits for these patterns. This one and her queen mosaic blanket, they have pre-made kits you can buy, and it tells you what yarn comes in those kits. So it had 6 of each color, which doesn't really make sense with a mosaic because there is going to be less gold in this than there is blue, so you would think you would need less of the gold. But it did have the kit with 6 and 6 of each color, and you only use the 2. So none of the kits were colors that he wanted. He specifically asked for it in a blue and gold colorway. So I just purchased 6 and 6 separately, and I am on my my third of the blue, and I'm about halfway done with it, and I'm not even halfway done with the blanket. I guess I could be, because that's how tall it is. So I guess I could be halfway done with it, and then it would just be kind of a lap blanket. But with how wide it is, I would like to make it taller. So I might have to order more yarn. I'll see how it looks when I run out, I guess. But I've used 2.5 of the blue, and I've used the fourth one 1.5, or no, 1, 2. Oh God, I've used 2.5, almost 3 of the blue, and I've used 2 of the gold because I just finished a ball of gold with this last row here. So I'm starting the third ball of gold in just a minute, and I've used almost 3 of the blue. So there is that. It's been a lot of fun to work on. I'm probably going to go ahead, ooh, bless you, and work on it for the rest of the night. We all know, if you watch my videos, that I'm very indecisive, so I'll say that now, and we'll see what happens when I actually go to start crocheting again. But I have a feeling I'm going to. The second thing I worked on was my latte cake granny square blanket. All of a sudden I'm like wheezy. So with this, I don't remember what video I talked about it because it's been a couple weeks since I've actually worked on it, but I am making granny squares out of 11 different colorways of latte cakes because that's what I had. I own way too many latte cakes, and I measured them out against my queen size comforter and realized I needed 111 squares. And one of the cakes I had only had enough to make 1 square. So technically it's 10 colors at 11 squares. One color will have 9 because I did have enough to make 1. The brown colorway, I don't remember the name of it. So one of the colorways that I'm still working on will only have 9 instead of 10. But each of them, except for that one, and I haven't decided what that will be yet, will have 10 of each colorway. So I made 7 throughout the week, and not really too prepared for this video, but let's see where my notes are. So I was able to finish off the olive mint colorway, And I'm working on Pretty Plum. And I also finished Kissy Kissy before, which I've showed previously. So I have finished 2 out of the 8, or 2 of the 10 colorways. We have 2, 3, 13, 14, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 squares, and I need 111. This blanket's going to be for me, though. It was just something that popped into my head, some way to make something that I'm going to really, really love and kind of dwindle down my stash, because I do own a lot of latte cakes, and it is my favorite yarn. I keep going back and forth between cloud cakes and latte cakes. When I work with latte cakes, they're my favorite. When I work with cloud cakes, they're my favorite. So I did have quite the large stash of them, and I still do, and even making 10 squares out of a brand new cake gives me quite a bit of that cake left over still, so I will still have all 11 of them, the colorways, well, 10 of the colorways, when I'm done. But my plan for 2023, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick to this, but I kind of have a plan to do a Stitch Your Stash. I'm going to try my hardest not to buy yarn unless I have a specific project in mind and it's something I'm going to want to work on, because I have, especially this past year for 2022, bought in a lot of yarn with a specific project in mind, planning to make that project, and now I have the yarn sitting around and I never made that project. So I want to, in 2023, try to work on picking stuff from my stash rather than being like, ooh, that looks pretty in that colorway, I need that yarn to make it exactly like it's pictured, because that's what I usually do. And I don't need to do that. I have plenty of yarn to work with. So that's kind of my plan, and kind of why I started doing this blanket was because I can, you know, but dwindle down my latte stash and still have some left over. But if not, it's okay, because I made a whole blanket for myself. So I'm trying to get out of the mindset where, ooh, this yarn is pretty, I don't want to touch it, I don't want to use it, because then what's the point? So, and that's how I was for a long time with the latte cakes. I had so many of them and I didn't want to use them because it's my favorite yarn. So I'm trying to get away from that, and I'm going to try to do a, like I said, Stitch Your Stash for 2023. So this blanket will definitely help me do that. That was a lot of rambling. But, I did finish the olive mint colorway. I made 6 and I already had 4. So here is one of them. This one on camera is coming up with a greenish tint to it. In person, it's just gray. But there is one. This one turned out gray and green. This one is my favorite because it is almost all green. It's got a very small touch of gray in the center, and then the rest is green. And then we got another gray, one that is light gray and dark gray, and then one that is green with a little bit of the light gray on it. So the one thing that I'm not too fond of with the blanket, and it's going to be fine in the end, is that a lot of the latte cakes have this gray colorway in them. So there's going to be a lot of these that came from different cakes, which it's going to be hard to tell which ones came from which cake. There's a bunch of sirens. I can't tell if they're outside or if they're coming from a phone. They stopped, so I don't know. And then here is the one, what did I say it was? Pretty Plum. Here is the one square I made out of the Pretty Plum. So that is the 7 latte cake squares I got done. Not as much on this blanket as I wanted to. Maybe I'll work on that the rest of the night. We'll see. And then the last thing I worked on, and I didn't bring the pattern in for this one, so if you haven't seen me show the pattern before, then you probably won't know what it is. But this is a Grafgan I am making. It's going to be the logo for one of my favorite wrestlers, Ethan Page. I actually have less progress on this than the last time I showed it, but that is because I did restart it twice. So whatever day it was that I sat down to work on it, I did like 3 or 4 rows. And then I don't know what I did after that. If I don't remember getting up and doing anything, but I don't know if I did or I stopped to, watch TV or something. But when I picked it back up, I could not figure out which side of the blanket I was on. And no matter what I did, my count would not match up. I was like 20 stitches off on both sides. And I sat there for probably about an hour trying to figure out what I did wrong. And I couldn't. So I went ahead and frogged it. And what I did, I'll show you on this one, is I frogged it down to the point where all the gold was gone. And started from there. And within 3 rows, my count was already messed up. Because with the technique I'm using, you single crochet across, turn around, single crochet back. Well, I mean, you're single crocheting the same way each time, but you turn it so, one row you're working on the front, one row you're working on the back, and no matter what I did, my stitches on what technically is the back side were lining up perfectly with the pattern, and then when I turn it and come back to work on the front side, they would not match up. And the second time around, it was really bad. So I ended up completely scrapping it all the way down, like took the chain apart and everything, threw the pattern away, printed a new one out, and restarted. And this is what I got so far. So it's very long, but the rest of it's just black. But that is the start of the border that goes around his logo. And I think this is 16 rows. I just counted it before I came in here, but oh, bless you again. 16 rows on this. And again, I don't have anything in here to show you what it's going to look like, but there it is. So what I did this time differently, and it's still, I'm counting my stitches every single row because I noticed even doing this, I was messing up. So I put stitch markers every 10 stitches on the bottom so that I could kind of follow it along with the pattern that way. But I keep losing stitches somehow. And I know this isn't perfect by far, but I'm trying to work on this when I can completely focus on it and count every stitch as I go because something's off and I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong. This is only the second Grafgan I've ever done, and the first one I didn't have any issues with. I mean, there's a couple parts of it that got messed up, but I was able to, wing it enough so it still looks okay. And this one I just couldn't figure out, and it's still, I mean, it's definitely not perfect, but I think it's still going to look okay in the end, I hope. I don't know. I don't want to restart it again, though, because I almost got to the point where I wasn't going to work on it at all. I was going to frog it that second time and just leave it and maybe come back to it later. But after I frogged it, I decided to restart it. So that is what I got on that one. And that is everything I have today. So I finished those 3 projects and I worked on the 3 blankets. My plan for this week coming up, and depending on how long it takes me, so it could be this week and next week too, or maybe even longer, I have a few last minute Christmas gifts I thought of that I want to get done. So I was talking to my grandpa the other day, and he said that my grandma really wants one of the sunflower bags that I make, so I am going to make that. I'll probably start that tomorrow. And then I want to make my grandpa something too. So I'm just going to make a hat for him. And then I want to make my brother and my dad hats. And I don't know if I'll have time, but I was thinking of making hat and cowl sets for some of the people I work with. But I feel like that's a little too much and I don't want to feel pressured with time. So I might just give them some shawls I already have done. We'll see. I'm still thinking about it. I'm going to see how long it takes me to get the bag and the hats made. If I can get them all done this week, then maybe I'll think about working on hat and cowl sets. But yeah, that's what I have. I also have to make a wild oleander hooded scarf for my cousin. So I got to work on that too. But that's not a Christmas present. She paid for the yarn, but I do want to get it done for her. So that's kind of my plan for next week. So let me know down in the comments what you've been working on and what you've been up to. And I hope everybody had a really good weekend. I hope everybody has a great week coming up. I am not looking forward to this week at all. I really wish the weekends were longer, but I only have 2 weeks left before I have an 11-day vacation. So I'm very much looking forward to it. So everybody have a great rest of your night and have a great week, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.